So, this week for Shark Tank, we are going to look at filling out your finance worksheet. And I'm going to talk through the worksheet step by step with you so you understand what's being asked of you for each part. This worksheet is going to make it a lot easier for you when you do your graphs. So, just as a reminder from last week, I asked you to think about the types of materials you might want to use for your product, thinking about what makes your product look more attractive to people, and things like that. So this is your worksheet, and we're going to again go step by step. This is in Google Classroom, and you'll be able to type in everywhere where it says type here in red. So the first part is listing all the materials, and there are 10 spaces. And as it's noted over here, you don't have to use all 10 spaces. If you need more spaces, you can, but you're just going to list whatever material you're buying or using, and then how much it costs. When you think about how much it costs, you can do it one of two ways. You can do it for a single item, or you can also buy in bulk. Sometimes if you're using things like wires or rubber bands or tape, that you don't need all of that for one product. So you can use bulk items here. It's just important to keep that cost in mind when we come down to number 2, when it says how much will it cost to make up one product. If you do use a bulk item and purchase it in bulk, then you're going to need to figure out how much of it you would need for one product and add that into your cost. So hypothetically, to get number 2, all you're going to do is add up all of your costs from this first question. Then for number 3, you want to figure out how many products you want to make to start your business. This is totally up to you. You can start with a lot, you can start with a little. We've had anywhere between 3 as a product starter if it's a heftier item, to 50 to 1,000. It's really up to you. You get to pick it. For number 4, you're going to take your cost of how much it is to make one, so your answer from number 2, and then you're going to do the number of products you want to make, so what you should have written for number 3. And when you multiply those together, that's the total money you need just for your products. So that's the first part. The next part, number 5 here, is talking about the cost of advertisements. Advertisements aren't free, and we have to account for them in our total budget. So Miss Van's going to be talking to you guys a little bit about your advertisements this week. So again, you're just going to type your kind of advertisement and how much it's going to cost to make it. Just so you're thinking ahead, you should have at least 3 items in the advertisement column. You're going to have your business cards, your first advertisement, and your second advertisement. Again, Miss Van will give you examples and things like that. And then any extra advertisements you want can also be included there. But you have to have your business cards and your other 2 advertisements. Going down to number 6. So number 6 is talking about employees. So we have these products, we have these really great ideas, but we have to have people make them for us. So we have to figure out how many employees we want to have. Again, this is totally up to you. You can do a lot of employees, you can do a few number of employees and have them working more hours. Whatever you want, that's what you're figuring out here. You're also going to figure out how many hours a day and how many days a week you plan on having them work. So, some things we've seen in the past is like 2 or 3 employees, but they're working longer days and they're working like every single day during the week. You can also do a lot of employees, like 50 employees, and have them work only a couple of hours. We have to pay them, so you have to figure out how much to pay them. Minimum wage is 7.25, so you can't have a number smaller than that here. And then something else to think about is if you have them working nights or weekends or whatever, typically they get a little bit extra money, so just keep that in mind when you're planning. For number 9, your total cost of labor, so you're doing the number of hours you want them working and how much you're planning on paying them, so you can figure out the cost of one employee. To get from the cost of one employee to the total cost for all employees, you're going to take that cost of one and just multiply it by however many employees you plan to have working. So we've gone through materials, we've gone through advertisements, we've done employment. The last part that we have to think about when it comes to our finances is how much will are we selling this for? So we have to figure out how to make a profit with all of this. So remember, if it takes $50 to make our product, we want to sell it for more. That way we get some money back. So you can again figure out whatever you want to be your cost of the product. You can do some Googling to figure out what similar things would be, or you can ask your classmates, like, how much would you be willing to pay for this? That type of thing. You don't want to make it too crazy because you do want the sharks to invest and you do want people to actually buy your product. So again, that is for number 10 and number 11. And you are just going to just type in your reasoning for how much you're going to sell it. To figure out the profit that you're predicted to make off of one product, you are going to subtract how much it costs to make one from how much you're going to sell one. So again, if I'm selling something for $120 and it costs $50 to make it, then I'm going to get $70 as my profit for one product. For number 13, to figure out the profit of all the products sold, you're going to multiply number 12, the product of, or the profit of one product, by however many products you plan on making. So I would do 70 times 5 if I'm planning to make 5 products, or 70 times 12 if I'm planning to make 12 products. Once we figure out all of the money that we need, we have to figure out if we need a loan. Your answer is most likely going to be yes, because we don't have thousands and thousands of dollars just sitting around waiting to make this product. So when we plan our loan, we have to figure out how much of a loan we're going to ask for. When you ask for a loan, it's typically going to be a nice even number, so 50,000, 100,000, 25,000. No, 25,000 and $10.72. We want to make it a nice round number. You get to, again, pick however much it is. We do have to make sure that we're including advertising and employment costs when we're doing this. So you want to figure out how much money do you need to make the product, to pay your employees, to advertise for everything. That should all be included in your loan. Number 15 is also talking about how long it's going to take to pay off your loan. And it says right here talking about interest rates. In case we've forgotten about interest rates, to figure out our interest is simple interest. We're using this equation called I equals PRT. P is our principal, that's how much money you're asking for. The R is your interest rate, and over here I've noted that everyone's interest rate is going to be 7%. And when we multiply it, we need to make sure it's a decimal, and then time. You get to play around with your principal and your time. So how much you're asking for and how long you're going to have the loan for. To figure out the total loan payment, you have to do how much you're asking for plus your interest. So if you're doing $10,000 for 5 years, once you multiply 10,000 times 0.07 times 5, you're going to add that number to 10,000 to figure out how much you're going to have to pay the sharks back. So again, for number 15, you get to pick how long it takes to pay it off, but when we pay it off, remember you have to do the loan amount and your simple interest. So for next week, I want you to try and have this worksheet filled out because this is going to make it a lot easier for us to make our graphs. This is going to help you make sure that you're keeping things realistic, that you're accounting for all of the advertisements and things that you need. If you have questions, please email me. But again, the worksheet is in Google Classroom. You'll be able to type in everywhere it says type here in red and just go through step by step either by yourself or with your group and start thinking about some of those things.